everyone, I'm Mind and welcome back to another LEGO Ninjago throwback review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at set number 9445, Fangpyre Truck Ambush, which originally released in 2012. This set contains 452 pieces, 4 minifigures, and originally retailed for $49.99 in the US. Let me know in the comments which old Ninjago set you guys want to see a throwback review on next week, but now let's get on to the review. So here is the main build of this set, the Fangpyre Truck, and this was one of my favorite sets as a kid. This set came out 10 years ago, so I was 10 years old when this came out, and while I did get some of the Ninjago sets for my birthday that year, this is one that I had to save up for. But I remember for months on end saving like the $5 that I got a week to get this set, and this is that exact same one that I got all those years ago. I spent hours upon hours playing with this set. I absolutely loved it. But how's it hold up nowadays? Well, let's take a look. For one, I absolutely love the snake vehicles. 2012 was a different time. We got so many different villain vehicles that year, and honestly, I miss it. I much prefer villain vehicles to ninja vehicles, because this set does also come with a ninja vehicle, but this ninja vehicle can be used across multiple years. I liked when LEGO used to come out with new villain vehicles for every wave, even if every ninja didn't necessarily get a vehicle. The face on this thing is awesome. I love the use of like the red ball pieces right here to make the eyes, and actually the way they did the eyelids too, that's super creative. It really feels like kind of before its time the way they did all that. It's super well sculpted the way they gave it like that snake-shaped face. Now these two pieces at the front you can actually see are a little bit loose, and I remember as a kid these would fall off all the time. I'm actually impressed that I still have them on here. So yeah, that was definitely not the best design decision, because even as a kid I would knock these off accidentally all the time. But they do look good, so I don't mind it too much, and obviously I was able to keep them, so it couldn't have been too annoying. But yeah, it was just something I noticed even all the way back then. Now something I always found strange is there's a gap in the head you can just stick your finger straight through. I guess that's because they really had no way to fill in this area, and they wanted to create this shape where like the two sides converge in. So I don't think that's a huge deal. It doesn't take away from the look of the build that much, but if that came in a set nowadays, I think that'd be really strange. But for 2012, I think it makes sense. Something else fun about this guy is the mouth can actually be opened. There's what the inside of that looks like. And because the head's actually so hollow, you can have him eat a minifigure and actually store it in there. Or not exactly store it, but definitely keep it in there. And you can still drive the vehicle even if the minifigure's been eaten, though then the chin drags against the ground. Other than that, I like the use of the flag piece of the tongue right here. That could be articulated a little bit too, but there's not too much going on in here. It's very simple. Lots of big parts used. Now the entire thing is built in some suspension, which I like. It just made it a lot of fun to like move this around and play with it. There's just that little bit of give there. I love all the stickered pieces too, just of like the snake scales. Really adds to the overall vibe of this set. And also the trans purple used on the windshield is a super cool color. All the different snake vehicles use this. It contrasts with the green so perfectly. I absolutely love that. And of course you can open that up, and there's actually quite a bit of room in there where you can keep figures if you want. Now because this extends so far back, as a kid I always try to put Fangtom in here, because it makes sense. I mean, it's got this extra room in here to fit his tail, but no, he actually cannot fit in here. That's just not possible. So instead, it's designed for Fangdam to drive. You can stand him up like that, close this up around him, and there you go. There's how he actually looks driving the vehicle. On the side, you've got these stickered exhausts, as well as this door right here, which can open, and you can see there's a piece of dynamite inside, which if I dump that out, you can give to one of the minifigures as an accessory, or you can just leave it on the road, I guess, to stop the ninja. On the other side, it's pretty much exactly the same, except there's no dynamite on this side, but of course, you can store things from your own collection, whether that's dynamite or something else. Got some CCBS parts back here. This was pretty commonplace back in 2012. These were coming in every set, not just CCBS sets, but obviously they're long gone nowadays. And then you have like the old Bionicle pipe piece right here to connect it, which is very cool. Both sides are pretty much symmetrical for this entire build, so there's nothing new to see here. But the back wheels are actually angled down a little bit to give the top of the vehicle this like angled look. And again, I absolutely love that. I feel like that makes this really unique. The tops of the wheels have these unprinted spinner crowns. Those work really well and look really cool when you're spinning them. Out the back, there's these brick build exhausts which have these purple fire pieces coming out. Those are awesome parts. I'm not sure how many sets those have come in, but purple is just such a cool and fun recolor for the fire part, and obviously fits the whole color scheme of this set. Trans orange wouldn't have made as much sense here. I'm really glad they used that. It's just a fun and surprising recolor, and just makes this set extra cool. Like I know when I was a kid I liked getting cool and exclusive parts. It gave me something to brag about like to my friends. So I remember like going to school and telling them like, yeah, I've got purple fire pieces, and that was like the coolest thing to me. So even to this day, I absolutely love them. I think they're so much fun. And then the last major part of this build is the tail at the back, and this is another thing that I remember just having so much fun playing with when I was little. So this is a technique that we even see in some sets nowadays, but this is one of the first sets that I can remember doing it, and it's just so much fun. So there's this Technic gear on the top right here, and if you spin it, the entire tail will swing back and forth. That is so much fun. It's so satisfying just to hear all those pieces click into place. The only thing with this is it's not the most sturdy in the world. I remember this falling off all the time as a kid, and while I didn't mind fixing it, it was definitely something that happened a lot. Let's see if I can get it to happen here. Yeah, there you go. And yeah, when this happened, it wasn't a big deal to fix, but this isn't something you'd see as often in LEGO sets nowadays. I feel like they've gotten better about making sure sets don't fall apart, usually. Looking at the tail up a little bit closer, I really like these purple blade pieces. I remember thinking those were a lot of fun. And then the build of the rest of it's pretty simple, and you come to just like these tentacle pieces out the back. And that's about it for the build of the main Fangpyre truck. I honestly still love this set. Obviously, there's some things that are not up to par as to like what would come in sets today, but this is so fun and so unique. I miss getting sets like this, man. Just something so completely in the villain's aesthetic, and the idea of a snake truck is so goofy, but LEGO did it so well. I remember thinking this was the coolest thing when I was little, and it's honestly still the coolest thing to this day. A snake truck that's just so much fun. I love the head, I love the tail, and then the fire and everything. It's just a ton of fun. Genuinely a fantastic LEGO set. I love this a lot. Then for the side build in the set, we have Zane's snowmobile. This is really funny because I feel like in these throwback reviews, I've just been reviewing Zane vehicles. Now, Zane is my favorite ninja, so he is the ninja who I have the most vehicles from. But with this set, I'm like, oh, I'm going to review this set because I really like this one as a kid. I completely forgot this was the side build in it. So I'm going to run out of Zane vehicles soon. So let me know in the comments, guys, for what set you want to see reviewed as a throwback review next. Give me a set that is not a Zane set. Because I do want to review the Shuricopter at some point too, but I won't do that next week. I'll do something different next week. But yeah, anyway, this build. This is really cute. Another one that I thought was so cool when I was a kid. The stickered icicle pieces at the front are fun. Now, the way they designed these doesn't make it look like they're meant to be actual ice. It more looks like they're meant to be painted on pictures of ice, which is fine, but I don't know. As a kid, it kind of annoyed me because it didn't necessarily fit the whole, like, a golden weapon feel. Like this was made from the golden weapons, like this feels like a paint job to me. So I wasn't the biggest fan of that. However, the rest of this vehicle was so cool that I didn't mind it too much. I love the translate blue rock pieces, those are so cool. They just communicate ice so perfectly, and by far my favorite part of this build. The vehicle's obviously able to roll across the ground, but if you move this one on the back down, it actually serves as a little bit of a brake, because then the wheel can't move. That's interesting, I've never seen a LEGO set do that before. Now I'm not sure if that's intended, but it definitely happened all the time, whether it was intentional or unintentional, because I'd be playing with this and I'd accidentally knock it, and then suddenly my thing wouldn't move. But I think it is a fun feature in retrospect, though as you can see, this comes undone every now and then. Again, I feel like this is just another case of LEGO's design standards changing, because I don't feel like those would come in a set nowadays. This is barely connected, it's just attached on the top and not also on the bottom. So there's no like proper locking mechanism, so it's very easy for it to come undone. Again, though, not a huge deal. I didn't mind it as a kid, so I'm not going to mind it now. I just find it interesting to look at and point out. There's these little pieces on the side that have a bit of movement to them, which is fun, and that's on both sides. And here's how Zane actually looks riding the vehicle. Yep, this was one of my favorite things as a kid, and I still think it holds up pretty well, and I honestly think I prefer this to the Legacy one, though I did a whole video comparing them a while ago. I forget what my conclusion was. But no, this is genuinely just so cool. I'm happy I have it. Oops, real quick addition. There's actually supposed to be 2 gold blade pieces right here. They were missing, must have fallen off when I was a kid, and I forgot to put them back on. Something you may know is with these throwback reviews, most of them are actually sets I bought when I was a child, so some pieces might be missing. I try to fix them up before the review, but sometimes I miss things. But yeah, those are supposed to be there, and they honestly make this snowmobile look a lot cooler. Here are the first 2 minifigures in this set. We have Zane ZX and we have Jay ZX. Now, does something seem off about these 2 to you guys? Did you already comment about it? Did you notice it in the thumbnail and earlier in this video? Well, if you haven't, I've actually swapped their heads. This was actually intentional, because if you have this set, you'll know in the instructions it actually says to put these heads like this, and not the actual way they're supposed to go around. I remember finding that super funny as a kid, and even though I obviously put them on correctly when I was a kid, I thought it'd be funny to swap them back around for this review, to give you the true experience of this set. But yeah, now having them all fixed up, these 2 figures are both pretty great. I honestly still love Zane ZX. Obviously, I know it's not nearly as detailed as some of the ninja figures we get nowadays, but it's one that holds up pretty well, and it's one that's still super unique. The golden armor and golden like head crest look really good, and I love the use of tan on the torso into the legs. That's just such a unique color for Zane that I don't feel like we see too often, but it makes the suit so distinct, as well as like the brown down in the corner. It just looks really nice. I absolutely love it. JZX looks really good too. I always loved the idea of the metal arm as a kid, though I have to say now that the Day of the Departed one exists, the plain gray arm does seem a little bit lame compared to the silver arm, but again, I think that's just a product of the time. They didn't do metallic printing as often back then. He does have a little bit on his torso, but I guess they didn't want to do it that big. So the Day of the Departed suit existing makes this suit feel less special, but I still think it's pretty cool and I love the overall vibes. And silver looks pretty good on Jay. He doesn't get the chance to use it all too often though. I've never been a fan of his leg printing though. I don't know, I don't like how this one leg's unprinted. I wish they did something a little bit more there with that belt, but I still think it's alright. Then removing their hoods, obviously you already saw their face prints. Classic ninja faces. It's the only thing we had at the time. Not the best, I definitely prefer what we have nowadays, but it was fine for what it was. And there they are with their heads removed so you can see their full torso print as well as their back torso print. Original symbols on the back, I really like that. Well, it looks like Jay's got some gunk on him. Yeah, this is how you can see this is one of the figures I had when I was a kid. Not sure if it's picking up on camera, but I'm pretty sure what that is Silly Putty. I used to play with my minifigures in Silly Putty, and some of it's still on them to this day. That's very funny. And then the other two figures in the set are Fang Tom and Fang Dam. These two are obviously both very similar. They share the same headpiece, and honestly, the printing design is very similar between the two of them. The, like, scaled ribcage design is bigger on Fang Tom, and he also has more black behind it. And if we turn them around, you can see the scales in the back of Fang Tom are white, though Fang Dam has black scales. However, I believe in this show they're both the same. Now, these are two of my favorite minifigures of all time. I loved the Fangpyre as a kid. I don't know why I keep saying as a kid. I still love them now, but especially back then, the Fangpyre were my favorite. Something funny is when I was a kid, I didn't realize it was two separate snake heads coming out the top. It looks so obvious to me nowadays, but I thought he just had 4 eyes and then this was a smile in the center, which I don't know, is very funny to me looking back. But no, this is actually a really impressive print. The way that every surface of the heads are all printed so that way they can all have eyes. And the printing between the two of them is very similar, though it looks like the design around this eye is slightly different. Fang Dam has a little mole right there, while Fang Tom looks like he has some eyelashes. This set also comes with the Fangpyre staff as an accessory for them. The snake staff was such a cool part. Sad to see it's discontinued because the legacy sets did not come with them, but these were really cool to me. They came with different printed tiles, but the gold piece was the same for all of them, and I think they were just a really fun collectible. But no, these two are both genuinely awesome. I adore the Fangpyre. And there's a look at the back torso prints with their headpieces removed. You can see once again Fang Tom is more of that black, while Fang Dam's is very simple. Yeah, I love these guys. Fang Tom's probably still one of my favorite LEGO minifigures to this day. Genuinely just so much fun. I adore them. And so, what are my overall thoughts of this set? If you couldn't tell, I love this set. Is it nostalgia speaking? Probably. But this set is just genuinely so much fun. It's flawed, for sure. There was lots of things that fell apart of me as a kid that definitely annoyed me as a kid. But that didn't matter to me because I had fun playing with it. The snake head was so cool. I loved how it could eat the ninja. The tail at the back was so fun to swing around. All the stickers made it look so cool. The suspension was like fun to roll around with. And the minifigures were great. I got Zane, my favorite ninja, and his golden weapon vehicle. Jay was a nice bonus. And then Fang Tom was the coolest snake to me. The general, the Fangpyre. And Fangdam came in every set that wave, but he was still a cool touch to get as well. So yeah, I adore this set. It's not perfect. It probably doesn't hold up to modern design standards, but that doesn't really matter to me because I just think it's fantastic, and I think it was a fairly good price. Price per part, not the best, but you have to keep in mind back at this time they used a lot of CCBS parts in normal sets, so there was a lot of really big parts in this set, so I feel like just volume of the set, it does feel like $50. So overall, would I recommend it? I mean, I don't know what price this goes for in the aftermarket, but if you find it for a decent price, yeah, for sure. I had a lot of fun with this set as a kid, and I had a lot of fun filming this review and looking back at it, so 100% I would recommend it. Obviously not for absurd prices, but if you get a decent deal on it, go for it. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this set in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please press like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I do LEGO and Ninjago videos just like this one almost every day, so if you subscribe, you'll be the first to see them. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!